morning, church. Happy to be with you this morning here, and we have to present another message of love from our Lord. Psalm 139:14 says, "I'll praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works." Definitely, we are wonderfully made. We know little how our body works, but it is fascinating. It's far beyond our comprehension. For example, not so recently, about 5 years ago, the science discovered we have an immortality gene. What this is telling you? In every of our cells, there is an immortality gene, which is working only in the intrauterine life. After you are born, this immortality gene is switched off. This means does not work. It's just telling us we've been created by God to live forever, and something horrible happened, and this immortality gene was turning off because we've been separated from the tree of life, which is our Lord Jesus Christ. The lives come from Him. God's plan is to restore us back where we have been. We are here for a while, but we have a great hope. It was so fascinating to see the music this morning. It was so enlightening. It feels like it's closing to heaven. Amen. The great controversy, it's playing here in our health message a lot, because we are living here among Moabites and Ammonites, and we learn from them. And unfortunately, we did not know to discern what is good and bad, although we have the Word of God. I'm not judging anybody here, because me being a medical doctor, I did not know our great message until 15 years ago. It is fascinating, our health message, but somehow, because we live here, we think we are right, and what we are doing, everything, we are not doing as bad as the people from outside, and we think it's enough. But God give us any detail in His Word what we should do. So, the great controversy is the heartbeat of Adventism, the grand central theme of God's original purpose from the world. The student, we read in education, page 90, he should see how his great controversy enters into every phase of human experience, how in every act of life he himself reveals on one or on the other side of two antagonistic motives. Correct Hex principles help us to cooperate with God in restoring all that the sin has damaged. Anything that lessens physical strength enfeebles the mind too. It makes it less capable of discriminating between right and wrong. All the battle is for our mind, that there where the Satan wants to destroy us to be able to comprehend the love of God. That should be what we have to take over out of this health message. Health is an inestimable blessing, which is more closely to conscience and religion than many we see. It is a great deal to do with one capability, with one we are. I have a patient of mine, he's a diabetic, and he lost the vision in one of his eyes. He's a multimillionaire man. And I asked him last week, will you give up all your millions for your eye? What do you think it was his answer? I was shocked. He said no. Can you imagine? But some people value different things. Health reform is a branch of great work which is to fit a people for the coming of the Lord. It is so closely connected with the third angel message as the hand is with the body. He has permitted the light of health reform to shine upon us that we may see our sin in violating the law which He has established in our being. God established His laws of physics and chemistry from which the universe is living. Our body functions on the same law of chemistry and physics. In medicine, we have biophysics, biochemistry, but everything functions on the God laws. The windows of soul are to be closed earthwise and thrown up wide open heavenwards, that the bright beams of the Sun of Righteousness may have free access. In these days of pandemics, where everybody is stressed, everybody is sick, we are afraid to go outside, we are afraid to go in. If we don't have our heaven, our souls, windows of the soul open heavenwards, we will not cope. We need the bright beams on the Sun of Righteousness in your soul to make us, to give us light, and we live by it. The lifestyle initiated by God's direction have brought blessing of improved health. Medicine Today is one of magazine. I received it one day in my clinic and I read this, reporting the study of Adventist Health Study 2. Adventists are known. Do you think we are not known? We are known. Adventists are known for their unique dietary habits, for their advanced principle in health reform, and they have lower risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes than any other Californians. Even the world knows this. The memory is to be refreshed by the Bible principle. The mind is to be kept clear and pure, but we may distinguish between good and evil. Holy Spirit will renew the mind of the heart, and He will give you strength to carry out high and holy purposes. Every aspect of our physiology can be modulated by our lifestyle and environment signals. The health outcome of one individual can be influenced by assessing and modifying each sphere of the lifestyle. Now, for the first time in history, the prevalence of chronic disease has overtaken the acute disease as the main reason why the modern patients see the doctors. Before, people used to come to the doctor because they have pneumonia or an acute respiratory tract infection or an acute type of problems. Now, most of them, they come because of chronic problems. Why this happened? Because over the past 50 years, the rapid advance in agriculture, manufacturing, and processed food significantly changes the food types which we eat, the dietary patterns, the daily activities, and the levels of general behavior. We are working too long hours. We don't have time to exercise. We eat in hurry, whatever it comes quick, available. Everything is influencing our health. And that contributes to a merge of chronic disease as diabetes, overweight, high blood pressure, heart disease, arthritis, depression, anxiety. All of them have being directly related to the new lifestyle. There is a big challenge in this, because this disease do not make them manifest until it's late. And they have progressed to a point where organs and systems are under tremendous pressure and already not functioning properly. So that is the problem. We do not know we are sick. But we have some guidance. We have some parameters where you can see, here it is not so good as I wish to be. The diagnosis is therefore much delayed, and unless appropriate preventing screening methods take place. we will be late. And this chronic disease cannot be cured with medication alone. As the cause of the illness remains, so they will exist indefinitely. This is why they are termed chronic. This means they persist a long time or constantly reoccurring. Managing the cure of the chronic disease lies in addressing the lifestyle factors and assisting with modification of health behavior. Lifestyle is a new field, is a subspecialization in the modern medicine that addresses the causes of disease. Lifestyle-related health problems are preventable, and in many cases they are reversible. Lifestyle, as the name suggests, addresses both the cause and the cause of the cause, and often can be reversed in early or medium stage of chronic disease. The most beautiful aspect of this is that this is inexpensive, is cost-saving, is free of the side effects of medication, and is appropriate for a child or for an 80-year-old man or woman. That's the beauty of it. This is our health message. This is God's prescription. Lifestyle as prescribed by God, it is a shining light at the end of the very dark tunnel of multiple chronic disease. Dr. Ornish and his colleague published in 1990 in The Lancet, which is a medical journal in England, revealing power of lifestyle in treating coronary artery disease. He had patients who were so sick they could not have coronary artery bypass. You know, the people, when the arteries are filled with fat, people are going for a bypass, which is working for a little while, and if they are not careful, in 1 year and a half, up to 5 years, they are blocked again. This fellow could not cross the road. He was so short of breath and so sick with the heart. He did not have any chance. And he came to Dr. Ornish and told him his situation, and he said, I have a trial with 30 patients. Do you want to be part of the trial? And he said, yes, change everything what you eat. He said, what to do? He said, you go and eat only plant-based. And of course, he couldn't exercise because exercise is part of our health message, but he couldn't. And he said, do a few steps as much as you can. He changed completely his message. He had a lot of water, he had a lot of hydration, because hydration is a very important issue as well. And he had the angiogram, so he had the picture of his coronary arteries, how blocked they've been. Within 3 years, these coronary arteries are opening, not completely opening, but opening enough to be able to have blood circulation through them. I had one of my patients, he was 78 when he came to me, and he showed me an ultrasound on his vein of his legs. They've been blocked. And I told him, you change what you eat, and you walk, and you have enough water. And he was doing this. To my surprise, I've never seen this before. We have it about 2 years and a half, the ultrasound again. The arteries of his legs opened. So big is the influence of lifestyle. So you don't put saturated fats and lots of cheeses in your body, and your body will heal. It's one of the bigger problems. Lifestyle is the best medicine we have. We don't have anything. Our inner physiology, what we are, it is we have our genes, which make 20% of our physiology, but we have no control of them because I've been born, I didn't ask for this, and I've been born with a genetic heritage from my parents. And depends how sick they've been or how healthy I will be, because what I put in your mouth now influences not only my health, it's influencing the health of my children and the health of my grandchildren. And I've seen a report regarding diabetes, how the paternal grandparents what they was eating, how it's influencing the health of the child. It is so important. Through epigenetic, this happened. And we have 75% with this environment. But what is this environment? We have it here. This is under our control. God gave his control about this. Environment is nutrition, is what we eat, very important. How much we exercise, very important. How much water we have, very important. How much light we have, very important. Temperance, extremely important. Rest, very important. Trust in God, the most important. So we have a lot of where we can work. Nutrition is the foundation of the good health and recovery. Nutritional choice is important, one of the environment we can choose. Is anybody who knows the difference between a bee and a queen? A bee is an insect, we know, who grow up of a larvae, and he eats honey only. And when the bee is mature, they live for 45 days normally. The queen of the hives, it is developing from the same egg. From an egg, it can end up a bee or it can end up a queen. The difference is, after 5 days of eating only honey, as it happened with the bees, the queen starts being fed royal jelly and honey. So by the time when the queen is here, the queen lives 5 years while the bee lives 45 days. Is there any difference in what we eat in our body? It's just affecting our genes in a massive way. That's exactly the same with good fats, which God designed us to eat. Nuts, grains, plants, green plants. Nobody knows the green plants have fats. They have extraordinary good fat. Extremely small amount, but it's good and have to be there. So all God's prescription for food contain fiber. Fruits contain fiber, greens, legumes, nuts, grain. Why they have the same numitor, as we said? Why they have the fiber? Because this fiber is designed to feed our gut microbes. We have discussed a little bit last time. We didn't have time to go into details because it will be a 3-day lecture. What the science today of our gut microbes, what they are doing to us. And it's a science which we did not know nothing about 20 years ago. We just discovered recently. When you eat, you feed your microbes. These microbes are doing 40% of the substances which grow in your body. They are doing everything what is good. They are doing health or illness in your body. There is a great book which I recommend everybody to read. It's called Fiber Fuel by Dr. Will Balsievich. This book comes very recently. I find it by mistake. If you read it, you think it will be written by Ellen White. What he recommends? He's a young gastroenterologist, highly specialized in gastroenterology, and he goes to every little detail what these microbes are doing. When you have irritable bowel syndrome, what you are missing. When you have ulcerative colitis, why do you have? When you have Crohn's disease, what you have. When you have bloated and everything. Absolutely great book. I do recommend. I wanted to pick it to begin with me for you to show it. But that's what is called Fiber Fuel, and you'll find it everywhere. Buy it and read it. It's extraordinarily important because we don't have time to study this. Sugar, the white poison, sugar addiction. It is a very big problem. It's destroying our gut, it's destroying our microbiome. We are not designed to eat. In the whole blood is 5 grams of sugar in the whole blood. And when we eat a soda, when you have 16 teaspoons of sugar in 600 mils of that, and you drink it at once, you do such an extraordinary big damage to your body which you cannot believe. Fat is addictive. They have done an experiment with mouse. They make them addicted to cocaine. And after that, they gave them sugar. And the mouse was leaving cocaine and they was going for sugar. What it's telling us? It's telling us the sugar is more addictive than cocaine. Fat, high fat addiction as well. Fat, sugar, and salt is working on the brain like addictive substances. We get addicted to them. And we have a lot of science there. One article published in Neuroscience to refined sugar diet reduce hippocampal brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It is a substance, we will discuss a bit about it, a protein which our brain is making in the right condition. So our day-to-day lifestyle choices have a profound effect on the activity of our genes of repair. Give me some water. So repair or inflammation on our brain or everywhere depends. Neuroscience published the article. What happened? Thank you. Exercise. Let's leave the nutrition. We can talk a whole day of nutrition. Let's go to exercise. Action is a law of life. Muscle tone strengths are lost without exercise. By exercise, improved health of our body and our mind, our emotion, mind cells, multiplied vitality and sense, and brain-derived neurotrophic factor. I said, a protein which the brain is doing, the nerve cells are doing, extremely important. We can choose to exercise or we can choose not. But in this day life, we don't have time. I love to exercise more. My husband, he is a champion in this. Last year, he had 7 kilometers walked every day. Absolutely every day. And the last 2 days of the year, he was working more because he didn't get up to 7. He was working more to get it to 7 kilometers every day. So it's absolutely a must. So brain-derived neurotrophic, a gene located on the chromosome in 11, encodes for this production of this protein, which play a key role in creating new neurons, protecting the existing neurons, encouraging new synapses, and formation of the process vital for our thinking, our learning, and the level of our functioning. So again, battle on the brain. Exercise, it will keep your brain healthy. Caloric restriction nutrients like omega-3 fats, the good fats, are encouraging this, and turmeric and curcumin, a lot of people are eating, absolutely fascinated for your brain. So have this, more of this yellow stuff, it's extraordinarily good. And the big study done in Germany is showing more than 20 times it's working as much as Voltaren tablets, turmeric. If you have backache, leg pain, inflammation everywhere, take turmeric tablets, natural, no side effects, and is working as good as the others. Our generation shall praise the work to another, and shall declare your mighty works. What I want to mean by this? 2016 Nobel Prize in Physiology, it was on fasting. What happened when you fast? What happened in your body? It is fascinating. This man was studying 40 years this. In 2019, Dr. Blackburn was getting Nobel Prize in medicine for showing telomeres, the part of our chromosome, what happened when you eat right. So it is study there. They study 40 years to discover a little piece of the God wonders. So what happens when you are fasting? You don't give enough food to your body, and your cells say, I don't have sugar and glucose to function enough, so what should I do? So there is a special mechanism of digestion within a cell. Remember, within a gram of tissue, we have 2 billion cells, and in each cell have a DNA, which is a strain, but if we will be able to lengthen it, is 1.56 meter each in each cell. And just to have a little bit of idea how great is the marvel is our body. And in this cell, they have a system of digestion. And when it does not have enough room from outside, they said, we need some energy. So what they are doing, they are going to the old organelles which are there, old mitochondria, old part of the inside the cell which are not functioning so well. They engulf them in the vacuole. They have a system of engulfing them, and they digest them. And after that, they eat them. And they have energy. And they are happy. This is what is called autophagy, eating itself. What happened after that? Your cell ends up being much better. Its function much better. It is much more healthier because it does not have that old balance there to disturb the functioning of it. So fasting, it is a marvel thing. If you can fast a day a week, it will be absolutely fascinating for your health. I know some doctors which they are doing this. I am not doing it, but I should do it. But at least if you have your last meal at 6 o'clock and the first one at 8 in the morning, have that intermittent fasting. At least don't put anything in your mouth 12 or 14 hours. This is absolutely great too. And this is much more than this. It is involved in a lot of our disease as the science is discovering now. So caloric restriction, again, it is increasing our brain-derived neurotrophic factor, making us think more clearer. Water, essential for health because our body is 70% water. Keeping well hydrated or knowing what to drink or not to drink is crucial for health. Do you know 50% of all acute myocardial infarction, of all heart attacks, happen because of dehydration? And 60% of the strokes, and this happens especially with our elderly people because they lose the sense of thirst, and when they feel like they are thirsty, they go and eat instead of drinking, and it is a big problem. I lost a very dear friend of mine and patient of mine, a dear pastor. I will not mention his name. He went to do an evangelism in Africa. He had heart disease and some problem. But there, the temperature was 45 degrees all the time. And after 10 days, he had an acute heart attack and passed away. And it was because of dehydration, no doubt about this. So it is important, the water. Water or soda. We can choose water or Coca-Cola. Absolutely poison. Coca-Cola, one of the biggest causes of causing inflammation, and all these sweet drinks. Do you think if God will know we need to have something sweet, they will give to Israel water to come out of the rock? He's giving us what is the best. In our house, we don't drink anything which is sweet. We drink water and that's it. Sunlight, another part of the environment which we can choose. Primary source of energy on the health, only 39% is the visible energy, but infrared light, which is there when you are outside, which is penetrated through your clothes, through your skull, it is refreshing your body. We need to go outside even if it's overcast. We need to stay because That's the way God designed our body to do melatonin in the cell during the day. At night time, melatonin is created by our pituitary gland, and which is a very strong antioxidant and recover our body. During the day, God designed sunlight. God designed us to live in the garden. But today we stay inside most of the time. So again, it's an environmental fact. But one of the most, we'll discuss only a bit of vitamin D deficiency, which is directly related with how much we stay in the sun. People these days, when they go in the sun, straight away they cover them up and they put sunshine, they put cover up cream, not make sure they don't get sunburn. Yes, of course, have to be moderation in this, but you need to stay half an hour in the sun, not with the sunscreen on. Because if you put the sunscreen on, the vitamin D will not be absorbed. Vitamin D deficient disrupt more than 2,000 of our genes and is related with gum infection, autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, Crohn, diabetes, allergy, asthma, osteoporosis, psoriasis, migraine, deep venous thrombosis, hypertension, metabolic, everything. Professor Michael Holick, who mentioned this, he studied 40 years vitamin D. He discovered what is doing in our body and how deficient we are. Autoimmune disease, let's talk rheumatoid arthritis, big substance, study done in Women Health Study. Vitamin D intake is inversely associated with rheumatoid arthritis and rheumatism. Of course, because it is extremely important for our bone health, and when your vitamin D level is low, your calcium is not absorbed, so your bone becomes weaker and you get osteoporosis, and this is one aspect of vitamin D. Multiple sclerosis, it's a terrible disease. Everybody knows you get paralyzed and stay there, and directly related, and it is, you can see geographically, it's in the northern country. The people, they have a lot of MS and directly associated with serum vitamin D. Vitamin D and cancer, immunity is directly related because, as I told you, 2,000 genes means nearly 8% of our genes which are shut off. So this means our immune system is not able to work. So he studied strategy, vitamin D and sunlight strategy for cancer. A lot of people say, do not stay in the sun. He had a big controversy with all these people. Do not stay in the sun, it's dangerous for you. And he was showing by study, no, sun is good for you. Do not stay too much in the sun, but stay in the sun. It's vitamin D, which is created there. When in half an hour in the sun, in the UV light, your body can make 50,000 units of vitamin D straight away, and it store them there in your liver, and your body will have it in the time of need. Cardiovascular disease, extremely important, the level of vitamin D with your all-cause mortality and cardiovascular mortality. Extremely important. Immunity, vitamin D status, and immune system. In the middle of the pandemic, do you know what is the most important? No, I told my patient, take 5,000 units of vitamin D every day as an adult. The children should take 1,000, and you will not have anything to do. Your immune system will work properly and will know to deal with the coronavirus. But when you don't have what is necessary there and your immune system is compromised, that's where it's not working. Influenza, epidemic influenza, all the flu which is around, and vitamin D, direct relation. How much flu you have and how much vitamin D you have. Muscle strength. Low vitamin D, it will increase the parathyroid hormone, which will take calcium out of your bones, and it will determine the loss of your muscle strength and muscle mass. So I wanted to see it's not just one aspect. There are many aspects. God designed us in this way to stay outside in the sun, and only one factor which we know, it's influencing so many other parts. Osteoporosis, fracture prevention direct with the vitamin D supplementation, and vitamin D study done on vitamin D status among the patients with the hip fractures, directly correlation with vitamin D. The message regarding vitamin D: take vitamin D supplement, at least 5,000. I take 30,000 units per week. I take tablets of 10,000 3 times a week. I've taken even this morning 5,000. Sunlight is health for you. Sunlight is definitely much better than vitamin D alone. Sunlight is providing far much more broader spectrum and activities as our body is enlightened by the sun. But here in Melbourne, unfortunately, we do not have enough sun, so take vitamin D. Temperance, abstaining for all bad things, using good and moderate what is all. You can harness the power of temperance. We have a choice how many hours we work, how many hours we sleep, how much food we eat. All is within our choice. The Great Vision of 1863, Great Health Vision, it was emphasizing a lot of temperance, and it was told to Ellen White her husband had a problem with the temperance. He was working too much, even he was doing great work of God. Air. Fresh, clean air, the body most essential. The brain lives 3 to 5 minutes without oxygen. So oxygen is needed. Avoid polluted city. We have a choice again, where to live. Rest and sleep, vital for health. Restoration is required. During the sleep hours, our brain is body is vitalized, our brain is vitalized, and remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Once a week, the rest. It's a blessing which we do not appreciate it. But we do have a choice how many hours we sleep. I told to my patients, if you don't sleep 7 hours minimum, you are not healthy just because you don't sleep. If you don't sleep 7 hours, go and take melatonin, which is a natural substance which the brain is making you to go to sleep. Go and take even a sleeping tablet until the brain will learn to sleep again. You have to sleep minimum 7 hours, otherwise you are sick. Trust in God. Total surrender in God's will lead to right choices, so stop stressing. Trust in God and choosing what is right in God's sight improves spiritual health that then impart blessing from physical, emotional, and mental health. Trust the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and feed on His faithfulness. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and He shall give you the desire of your heart. Commit your ways to the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He shall bring you it to pass. He shall bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice at noonday. Rest in the Lord and wait on Him patiently. I found this Psalm 37, 3-7 extraordinarily encouraging. To trust the Lord with all our hearts. Make God your entire dependence. Put your whole being into Lord's hand, soul, body, and spirit, and resolve to be His loving, consecrating agency, moved by His will, controlled by His mind, infused by His Spirit, and then you'll see the heavenly things clearly. Trust the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It will be health for your flesh and strength for your bone. Solomon speaks here osteoporosis. Nutrition, the whole food, as close as God created, is the most important nutrition guideline. Whole food, eat whole as is grown. Of course, you will not eat beans and lentils raw. You'll eat them, yeah, but everything what you can eat raw, you eat raw. The divine prescription, Genesis 1:29, and God said, I have given you every herb that yields seeds on the face of the earth, every tree those fruits yield seed. To you it shall be for food. That's God's prescription for our body. That was God's prescription for people which been, for Adam and Eve, which been before fall, absolutely perfect in Eden. Do you think it will be good for us today? I'll talk just a little bit about one mineral, magnesium, which is involved in a lot of chemical reaction in our body. Essential mineral required for health, found where? Green leafy vegetable, nuts, legume, whole grain, and fruits. What happens when we refine the grain and we eat white bread and white pasta and white rice? We remove 80 to 9% of total magnesium plus all the B vitamins, and we eat only the sugar which is left. Normal magnesium level decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. I'm talking just one mineral. Sudden death, cancer, diabetes, stroke, osteoporosis. But it was an interesting study done over 66,000 patients, which take over 8 years. The vital study was studied magnesium intake. And they said optimal intake is 420 milligrams per day. But suboptimal, it is 75 of the normal, and deficient less than 75. Let's see what happened. In suboptimal magnesium intake, increased risk of pancreatic cancer by 42%. And increased risk of, in the deficient state, by 76%. Is that important to eat as God designed? And we are talking only one mineral here. Because magnesium is regulating the genome stability, the cellular signal, the insulin, everything, and DNA repair. So God's prescription impacts key molecular pathway in our cells. And this is my prayer for you and for me this morning. Come from Psalm 119, verses 33 to 40. And I read only the first stanza. Teach me, O Lord. Give me understanding. Make me walk in the path of your commandments. Incline my heart to your testimony. Turn away my eyes from looking at the worthless things. Establish your word to your servant. Turn away my reproach, and revive in me your righteousness. God promised He wanted to do this for us. Let His name be glorified now and forever. Amen.